What's up? What's up? It's Malik, HIM Podcast, back again. I love saying that. Back again.
Back to back Maybach.
Okay.
Stack the M.
I can't with y'all. We're not going to have it today. We're not going to do that.
Y'all know what we do. Stop playing.
Where that came from, though.
Okay. Hey, Trey. What's up?
Hey, darling.
You looking cute over there. I ain't seen you in a minute.
I know. It's been a few months.
Okay. The girls went to Philly. Back in Philly.
Yes. I'm home. I'm happy to be home.
Wake it up. Okay.
Excuse you, bitch. Just going to say that for right now.
Open your eyes.
I love it.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
I can't cut his mic this week, but I'm ignoring it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, handsome?
Hey, it's
Hey.
me. What's up, y'all?
How you doing?
I'm living my life like it's golden, like Jill Scott told me to.
All right.
As
no, bitch.
usual.
What happened?
No, bitch.
There y'all go.
All right, okay. So hey, what's up? What's up, Stevie?
Hey, pussycats. What's tea? Y'all already know what's up. Hey.
Yes.
It's your girl. Yeah.
So we want to cut the intro short a little bit because we have a very, very special guest
Yes,
up
ma'am.
in the building.
Come on out.
And do.
Okay. We have Antoine Ward up in the motherfucking building.
Yes.
How you doing, sir?
How are you?
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm nervous, but I'm
Shake that shit off. We've discussed this before.
I know.
Shake that off.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I feel amazing. Thank you guys in advance.
You're with family.
You with
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Right. It's so funny, like how I live in New York and have never come across any of you guys, like at all.
Right.
We be hiding.
We be hiding.
No, I be hiding.
We do be hiding.
We're literally all in the same spots, though.
Like
That's the
legit,
shade.
like legit. That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what have you been up to? You got to tell the guests who you are, what you do, what you want the girls to know.
Like
Sell it.
resume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole resume.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Antoine Ward. Just Antoine. That's how I like to go.
Yeah.
Go by. I recently wrote a book, 8-chapter book about my life and all the things that I've been through over the years. And that's basically just the gist of it all. Like, yeah.
And the title of this book,
yeah, of
said book.
course.
I'm about to say, come on now.
I'm sorry, this is my first time, so I'm a podcast
you're
virgin.
good.
No, let the girls know so they can look it up.
Pop that cherry.
Okay.
No, so the title of my book is called An Organic Guide to Living Happier and Healthier. It's dedicated to the everyday athlete.
Come on.
Yeah.
I love it. I first of all, I wanted to say that being an author and writing your first book is such a monumental achievement.
Yeah.
Coming out.
So I want to say, I think we've been interviewing guests who have been doing firsts of first.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, like, what pushed you to this moment, or was there like a certain thing that like got you to writing this book?
And also, congratulations.
Yeah. Right.
Definitely.
Because
Let's not
again,
forget that part.
it's such
Congratulations.
a monumental
You've done this.
achievement.
Yeah.
It's funny how this first started out. I was training a guy named Anthony, who was my friend. His name is Six Poppy on Instagram.
You know Six Poppy.
Yeah.
Anthony. What's up?
So we were training, I believe in like 2016 or so. I believe so. And he asked me what to eat, like basically just like what can he eat to like enhance his body and whatever the case may be, because I'm known for eating healthy. And my friend Sean, who I'm always shooting with, the photographer, he also was asking me that same question. And from there, I started actually writing a cookbook. So like before I actually started writing my actual book, I wrote a cookbook. I wrote like an 8-chapter cookbook with like everything that I ate and just like certain information that the culture just needs to know, like GMO and just stuff like that and whatever. And from there, this book came along. I actually completed the cookbook, and I was like, why am I just stopping here? Like, I always knew I wanted to write a book, but I just didn't know what to write about. I thought I had to, like, be at a certain point in my life. I had to have, like, a certain popularity or a certain, quote-unquote, following with a certain bank account to actually just put words to paper. Like, I thought I needed permission to write a book, like, about myself and whatever. But no, after I wrote the cookbook, I just started writing about my life. And it's funny because I write often. Like, I have journals from probably when I was like 9, like some of the hardships that I've been through in life. Yeah, and I've just literally just been saving these journals. And going back and reading them and crying and going to like basically being my own therapist and just like going to therapy about like rereading these books and whatever. And I just put it in the book.
That's amazing.
Come on
So,
now.
like, you're not new to this, but you're in fact
True to this.
Okay.
That's okay. Like that's
You have been doing this for a long time. That's so cool.
true to this.
Like,
Come
you know what I'm
on.
saying?
Yeah.
In the
He's
cookbook,
getting
like
nerves.
you literally do it all. Like that's
Yeah.
that is so cool.
because it's you just got to like. I don't know. It was just something that I knew I had to do. Like it's just like I think they're like when you just know, and it's just like I just know to do this. I just know to write this. I don't know how I knew how to do it, but it was just like I just knew, and it was like for the 2-year time period that I wrote this, and I read a lot, which wasn't always the case, but I read a lot now as an adult because it's just important. As Black men, it's just important for us to read and just to learn. And as I'm like reading certain books, like I've been reading Charlemagne the God, Damon John, Sophia Amoroso, Wendy Williams, RuPaul. Like I love reading A New Earth, The Power of Now, like just all these books. And as I'm reading all these books, my title, Happy and Healthier, just keeps popping up in all these books. And I'm like, is this an omen? Is this an omen? And I just kept getting excited, like, oh my God, I'm supposed to write this book. Like, this is what it says here. And I just read something recently, and this new book starting with Why by Simon, I forget his last name. And he was writing something about Apple, and he was like, Apple, the reason why Apple sells is because it's a lifestyle brand. I'm like, oh my God, that's what WardBody is. It's a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just omens after omens after omens. And I'm like, and then I get this text by my friend Jonathan, and he was like, oh my God, Antoine, I had a dream. And he wrote me this long text. Like, I had a dream that you wrote a book and you had a celebration and da-da-da. And I was like, oh my God, Jonathan, I'm actually writing a book right now. How did you know?
That is
And it was just like,
fantastic.
I listened to myself and I just started writing, and it was just like, this is what you're supposed to do. The universe just kept confirming me like over and over and over and over again, like that this is what I was supposed to do. So
Come on.
yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you because there are queer men of color have really been putting out amazing books.
Yeah.
Michael
Listen.
Arsenault,
Yeah.
Darnell Moore.
Ugh.
I have that one too. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
My book club just recently read Joseph Cassara's The House of Impossible Beauties,
Oh, wow.
which was just released recently last year. So I want to say thank you because we need this in the community.
It's important.
We need this in the larger black community.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much for contributing this to the community. It's really important. And I want to get back to, you said that WardBody was a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
Can you explain that for the
Yeah.
listeners and what that means?
For sure. Because a lot of people think that when I talk about WardBody, I'm just talking about my body.
Yeah.
And because that's what the culture is. I mean, and I also take blame in that because that's what I've been giving you guys.
Right.
Like, that's what I've been putting out.
I was about to say now.
Yeah,
That's what I've been
the
giving you guys.
I'm the one to blame because that's how I've been marketing myself. But no, WardBody is an organic lifestyle brand for the everyday athlete. A brand whose mission it is to build a new earth by helping its consumers awaken their life purpose. I believe that once we learn or once we know what we're living for, then life can actually start to be lived. Like, we don't really start living until we know what that purpose is or what our purpose is. We do just because shit for the meantime. Like, we just do stuff. Like, we don't even know why we're doing this stuff, like having sex with certain people or just drinking or partying. Like, we do all this stuff just because it's something to do. Like, we have no real purpose for doing this stuff. And I actually want to take a minute to go on air and say I actually wrote this philosophy out in November of 2017. I just had recently got fired from my job because I was writing my book, and I wasn't attentive in this space. I was working as a receptionist at an architect firm, and they fired me and let me go because I was just so invested into WardBody and what it is, and just writing out this philosophy and the summary. And I took the whole month, I was fired in October, I took the whole month of November off and just was like writing out statements. And I don't know, you guys probably don't remember, but I put this poll on Twitter and I asked people like, do you agree, does life tends to be lived when you know what you're living for? And I asked people this and it was like, yes. And I was like, that's going in my mission statement because it's a true fact, and it's true. And nothing, like no one told me this. It was just taking like my life experiences and just putting it into something. Like, no one gave me this information or no one handed me this philosophy. I legit went through the ringer and just put all of this together. But yeah, to sum it all up, WardBody is an active lifestyle brand. It's for the everyday athlete. It's a brand for people who wake up every day to put time and effort into what it is that they do. Not just your body. It's like my body is not even half of what I am. You know, like it doesn't even compare to what I think and what I know, like my creative wit. It's about like you guys, like waking up every day, just practicing, putting time into your craft, because we are the new athletes. Like us putting hours and hours and hours and spending time at our desk and at our keyboards, just thinking of ideas. Like thinking is an exercise, whether people agree or disagree. Like that's an exercise, and just researching it alone, like that's a mental workout that you have to put into your brain or whatever it is that you want to create. And that's what WardBody is all about. It's about the construction of one's life, one's brand, oneself. And that's basically what my book is all about.
Come on.
I'm just going to reiterate that.
Okay. Selling in.
I loved it.
Wow.
One thing that I loved when I was reading the book was that, as you said, it is a comprehensive resource for like the mind, body, and the soul.
Yeah.
And it's not... It's a one-stop shop, shall I say?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I guess my question is like, how was the process as far as publishing? Because a lot of people think that you just write a book and you just
you say, here you go.
Hey, you just put it on the internet like a PDF or something.
No, it's a process.
Right.
And it was something that I had to like learn myself, because again, no one gave me this, and I'm someone where if I want it bad enough, I'll figure it out. Like, I'm not someone that's going around asking, like, hey, how you do this? Like, hey, who you do that with? Like, if I want it, if you really, really, really want what you say you want, you will figure it out. Right. Like, period. You don't need to go around asking people, oh, how you do this? Or how you do that? You figure it out. I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. to figure out what it is that I need to do to get this published. But the process, I actually created a LLC. WardBody is an LLC. I own it.
Come on, LLC.
Because I was like, when I finish writing this book, I don't want to go to publishers and be like, hey, can you publish my book for me? I'm a Black gay man, and I already know they niche us. I already know that they seclude us from, overall conversations and whatever. And they count us out, period. I mean, that's just what it is. So I was like, well, how can I maximize this with just me, So I created an LLC. I found out, actually from my editor, because a woman named Deborah, who actually helped me out a lot, I was researching editors and whatnot, and through from the editing process, she actually put me onto so much, like this print on demand service, which is basically how the book will be printed and sold. Like, I don't have books in my home, so when you buy a book, it actually will be printed and then sold from wherever it comes from. But it's called Mgram Spark. They do all the print on demand services and whatnot and whatever. And then from there, I put WardBody as the LLC. So I have like a whole business account, like a whole, I'm filing business taxes, like putting money out of my personal into this, because I'm funding my own business and whatever. Because again, I didn't want to hear no's. And I know that's going to come later down the line if I do decide to publish something. But I wanted to know that and confirm that I can do this, and that this starts with me, and that this starts with us. Like, whatever we want to do, it legit just starts with us. So you got to do all the legwork, spend all the money you have, go broke for it, go hungry for it, and just put in all the work. And that's basically what I did. So publishing for me was a no-brainer. I'm like, I can do this myself. I can figure it out myself, and I did. Everything that you see from Amazon, I wrote it. I put it up there. Every summary you see, I wrote it. And the video that I recently posted with me basically talking, my friend Sean wrote the script. The price, I came up with the price. I researched what's the normal pricing for self-help books or whatever.
I love the foresight here.
Okay.
I'm
drawn in. Yeah.
Okay, so I said earlier that you were true to this, but it's like you really have done all the research, every single thing that it takes, like the LLC. Not to say that was my
birthday gift last month to myself.
That's amazing.
Last year to myself.
You know what I'm saying? That every single bit of this you've thought out, you've planned, you've addressed.
Yeah.
And that's really inspirational.
And
to have this coming out of it, you know what I'm saying, as well as the background.
Yeah, even with the cover, I bought the font, I bought the pictures, I bought the leaf, I bought everything that you read. I bought it, and I personally handpicked it. I feel like Beyonce right now.
Right, independent women. Here we go.
No, not today.
No, seriously, when that came out, and she was like, I handpicked this. I'm like, I get it. Like, I handpicked everything that you see. I created it. The reason why that leaf is an organic sage leaf, and the reason why I put a leaf on there on a blank plate is an offering. From my book is an offering for you to understand and learn yourselves. Wow. Or sage is we can eat it, and we can also burn it in our spaces to clean out space. So it has its, and then the napkin behind the plate is playing on my interior design background. So everything, like I thought all of this, all of this, I thought all about like everything, yeah.
And also what I like is, so I haven't liked self-help books in the past. They tend to be sort of condescending. And I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's looking to make a change in their life, they're not going to pick up a book and be like, hey, you suck. So, you know what I'm saying?
Watch your fingers.
I don't want to see that. You know, so what I like is that your book made room for people that were looking to make a change. Somebody that's not necessarily already living an organic and, healthy lifestyle. Somebody who might, be like, okay, maybe I need to do a few things different. You know what I'm saying? So like, and they open up the book and they find, a welcoming. It's like a welcoming energy. You know what I'm saying? And I really like that.
I have to give props to my friend Sean for that. Because every time I do something and I'm about to put something out, he's like, well, what does the person, like we be having real talks. Like this shit is really real. Like
as it should be.
Really real.
As it should be, yeah.
We sit down and he's like, well, what is the person doing that's not living your life? Well, how can they? You can't talk to people and make people feel less than. You can't tweet less than tweets. You gotta meet people where they are because of how people are going. How will someone listen to you if you're trying to talk to them above? Like you got to talk to people like where they're at and whatever. And I'm like, you're so right. Like I think about everything, like from the things that I tweet and put out here in social media and whatever. Is I don't ever want to, and I answer every DM that I get. Like flirting or non-flirting, like I answer every DM. No. You got
the time, Antoine. You got the time, Antoine. Wait a minute.
Listen, no.
The girls be trying it, but go ahead.
Because I think it's just important. I know what I offer. Right. Like I know what I can give someone, and I know like my words are true. They ring true, and I'm not trying to entertain people. And I like that, like, hey, that's not me. I'm not into those things. That's cute, but that's not me,
You got to cut off. I hear you.
Yeah, that's not me. And not people like you curve. I'm not curving. I know who I am, and I know what I'm not into. So I drive this conversation back to like, well, why are you here? Like, why are you in my DMs? Like, what brought you here? And and it gets deeper after that. Like, and that's all it takes. It's just like, what's up? What's going on with you? Like, I'm aware of who I am, so I don't. There's it just happened. There's never that. Like, there's never it just happens. I know exactly what's going on. Yeah. So But yeah. But I owe that. I owe the fact that just welcoming people and accepting people for who they are. I actually had to learn that from my family first. Right now, my family and I aren't on the best of terms. Like I'm like the odd man out, and it's always been this. Always been this way. But last year, actually, my father texted me because I don't go home for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I don't celebrate holidays. I don't. But my family, like, we're all in a group chat together, and my father basically was just like, well, Antoine isn't coming home because he doesn't like being around his ghetto family, or whatever the case.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. So, and
I feel attacked.
I was like, that's not my truth, but if that's their truth, that's their truth. But what I've accepted within my life is that I just have to accept people for who they are and how they live their life. Like, if you aren't a motivational being, then that's you, but you can't expect me to be okay with what you're bringing, right? Like I can't just accept that, so I'm gonna go and do my thing, and you be who you are, but I love you dearly, and that's just that. And I will give you help if you want help. Like, it's there. Like, I wrote a whole book about it, so it's there if you need it, but I can't just accept what's been giving. So
yeah. I think we've talked about toxic family members and friends. Plenty of times. Yeah. And unfortunately, it seems that the most toxic people that we have in our lives sometimes are our family and the people
who are closest to us.
Yeah. I was going to say love. The people who are closest to us. So I want to say that when I read your book, it opens with a timeline of some things that happened in your life or transpired in your life starting at adolescence. And P.S. I did not know you were from Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, shout out.
Okay, B1. Oh, for sure. All right.
I love it.
Baltimore all day.
I love it.
Okay, B1.
I'm from Virginia, so
yeah.
So I love anybody from Baltimore, and so I just kind of wanted you to talk about that. Why did you feel the need to kind of, I guess, bare yourself to your readers? Because it was very I don't even want to say
not that we don't appreciate it.
No, I'm about to say I love it. People sell, yeah.
Yes, we do.
You know what? It was very selfish of me. I wasn't even thinking about anybody. I wasn't thinking about readers. I wasn't thinking about someone else need this information.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this book because I needed it. Honestly, to be truly honest, I bear it myself because I've been harvesting these stories and these hardships to myself and my friends. My friends know everything about, they know these stories and they know some of the things that I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to put it in a book form because just reading books from Charlamagne the God and Kevin Hart and Damon John and all these Black people, and I'm like, I can't find myself in these stories. Granted, some of the hardships are there, some of the things that Charlamagne the God has went through, being from, I think he's from North Carolina and whatnot, and how his father told him that you're either going to be in jail or under a tree or on a stoop or something like that. And whatever. Certain things that I can agree with, but being gay was just out of the conversation. I couldn't agree. I wasn't in those stories, you know?
Right. You created a lane for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because I was I wanted to read about myself. I wanted to read about someone who went through all of this stuff that could have ripped him apart, or could have made him go crazy, or could have made him just have so many psychological problems.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's still overcoming, and not even that, he's able to create, and he's putting out good work that people actually enjoy and that people actually relate to and that people actually want to see. He's not a damaged, toxic person despite everything that he's been through. He's actually, winning. And I just wanted to write about that because it's either you go through all these hardships and you become a messed up adult, but you never read about the person that went through all these hardships, that was gay and Black, and that went through all these hardships, did the work on himself, and now is able to help other people. We don't have that. We don't have that in the culture. We don't. And
we do now.
Yeah, you created a lane. So even though you say you did it selfishly, you're still helping people.
And that's why I wrote this. While this book was written selfishly, there's nothing selfish about this book because it's offering you the same opportunity that I offered myself to now get to know yourself, and you can get to know yourself through my story. A lot, because it's so vain. I don't look like the person that will go through some of the things that I've went through, and it's so wild that we attached struggles to
the way you look.
The way you look,
Mm-hmm.
and people won't know. I've never talked about this publicly or even told. People that know about this is my sister and this guy that I was dating. But I was touched as a young age. I was touched, as a child and whatever, being 7 years old. My father asked me this one time, but I didn't tell him. Mainly because it wasn't the time and the place, but. I just didn't. I don't know. For so long I was but I liked it. But I'm I'm 7. I don't.
You don't
know
really
what
know.
That means,
Right.
But I'm sorry. What was your question again?
Listen, you were just going, but I love it. I love
I
it.
just be saying that you wrote the book selfishly, but
oh
you
yeah,
ended up
yeah.
helping
I'm
people
sorry.
anyway,
Yeah, because there's nothing selfish about the book. I just wanted to just own up to myself and just be one of those people that actually is genuine and organic and. I'm not looking for fame. I'm not even looking for money.
Right.
I'm just want to be the person that took control and in charge of his own life.
As you
and said, this is who I am. I'm not going to let you tell me who I am.
I
and
think
that's
you
just
saw
it.
something that you needed and you
I'm here.
created it, and it just so happens that it's going to help a lot of other people.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it does. I really hope it does.
will.
I hope it.
It will. Trust me.
It's amazing because I'm I couldn't even guess this. Even when I think about that bathing suit that went viral, I'm I wasn't even thinking about.
Come
I
on,
wasn't-
Antoine.
I remember that picture.
I wasn't
Okay.
even
I
trying
think
to.
I like that
Do
picture.
you-
I believe we all did.
I think we all did.
The internet remembers.
It's so funny because I'm I wasn't even trying to do that. Me and my friend just had an idea to go to LA and just play around and shoot a video and some pictures, and it and that just seems to be an ongoing thing with me. The support is there from the culture, and I don't know what I've done to have that support. I don't know what what I've said to get that support from certain people, but I'm honored. Like, I really am. Like, I'm not even anybody, you know? Like, I'm just Antoine from the projects of Baltimore, Maryland. Like, and I'm not even, like, anywhere. Like, I'm struggling just like the next man, broke just like the next man.
That doesn't mean that you're not anybody.
I'm about to say, Antoine, you're making some noise out here.
Don't discount yourself. You've been doing this for a long time.
Don't discredit. You got it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
Give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
But that's what keeps me organic, and that's what keeps me authentic, is I don't let that stuff get to me. Like, I don't let that stuff, like, oh, these likes, oh, bitch, they liking my likes. Like, they like my, like, I don't do it for that. Like, it ain't about that. And I think that people can feel that through my photos and through my tweets. Like, people can feel, like, even in this room, like, you can feel who I am. Like, and I think that's just why I get what I get. I'm honored.
I love. Well, this is a very, very small thing, but I love how you just identify yourself. Like, I'm Black, I'm gay in the book. I think that it's so important. I love when I go other places, and whether it be conversations or presentations or whatever, I love when people let it be known that this is who I am, because it makes the space so much comfortable for other people like you, or near you,
definitely,
within the community. So thank you. And that's just also something that I'm starting to do myself whenever I go anywhere. I'm like, hey, girls.
Yeah,
I'm elite.
Hey,
I'm Black. I'm gay. This is what it is, and like, it makes the space so much warmer. So,
you know what actually inspired me to be that way, even with like just tapping more into like my feminine side, dating.
Oh,
these guys,
come on out.
Yeah. I was waiting for it.
No, yeah. I'm gonna touch on it a little.
Oh, we're gonna pull some things out you, Antoine. You ain't done yet. Come on.
Dating. One of the things that really, like, I can't get what is like that masculinity type situation. Like, I'm just not that guy.
I got
you know.
It's just not your thing. Got you.
And because I look that way, people expect that. Even with my voice, people expect me to be like, because you know, but that ain't me.
Go ahead, Antoine.
It's like, and some of the things that when I look at some of these Instagram pictures or these photos, and I just be like, wow, you're so out of touch with yourself. Yeah. And I just be like, wow, you just really aren't who you are. Like, you can feel it. And I'm like, just be yourself. Like, just stop. Like, and that's why I lean now. Like, I'm feminine. Like, I'm a feminine guy. Like, growing up in Baltimore, like, these guys want you to be almost straight.
Yes.
You know, they want you to walk straight, talk straight. And I actually talk about that in a book with this one experience that I had with this guy. Like, he actually was, like, parked in front of my apartment just to see if I walk straight. And I was like, dude, like, what is...
Oh, my God.
But...
That's crazy.
Right? It's so... But it's the culture. It's just what the culture has been. Like, we want to be accepted, and we want to be, like, liked. Like, we're straight, and we're not, you know, like, we walk different, we talk different, like, we have that femininity in us, like, it's just there, you know, and accept it, and I accepted it. Like, doing the work on myself, I accepted all that I am, and all that I've been through, and I don't care, like, I'm Black and I'm gay, like, what's up? Like,
and it kind of still fits into the theme of, like, you know, doing something, not necessarily selfishly, but like doing something, you know, to help yourself and still end up helping other people. Because like Malik said, when you walk into a room and announce, you know, who you are, whoever's in that room, they might have, you know, one or two of those marginalized identities. They might feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah, it does.
Because like, I love that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really just, it's like a cycle of, like, you know, bringing more people in and feel more welcome and warm.
RuPaul does that a lot for me. Funny. Like, just being a drag queen, and it's just, it makes it easier for me to just be me. Like, some of the things that he may have had to go through, like, in life is just like, bro, I can just be myself. Like, be myself. Like, I don't have to.
For me, the cast of Pose is, you know, really, like,
that's
a huge inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like, right, you know what I'm saying?
Riled up. Don't even do it.
You know what I'm
Not
saying?
today.
My heart's beating faster. Woo, I love them
those
so
Pose
much.
girls be having me up in arms.
Nice. When I say
It's
I love them
wild.
so, they're just so, they're amazing. Like, just, they're living their lives, and they're just,
It's wild because you think that, like, when you come out and you're gay, and you say you're announced to the world that you're gay, you actually start living for yourself. And then it's like, but you're not really.
Yeah.
You can't even Vogue without feeling uncomfortable. Or you can't even pretend to
can't do
Vogue or
anything.
even pretend to twerk and still feel comfortable within yourself. Like, you're still hiding behind something. Like, let all of that go. Like, you are a gay Black man. And the world, and we as gay Black men can't sometimes take ourselves. Like, we don't feel, like, being gay in a Black community, heterosexual Black community is, like, it's an action, like a movement. It's not even about having sex with the same, like, with another guy or another girl. It's about how us Black men move. Like, the world can't take us moving with, like, flamboyant, like a flamboyant way, like or twist. Like that's gay. It's not even about like me having sex with this man. Yeah. Like it's about how I move and like how I strut, and it's weird. But yeah, I just don't identify with like the masculinity trip, and like that's cool.
Yeah. We as queer people, you know, like we're already outside of the systems that, you know, society is set up. So it's like, why not just live our lives? You know, it's not necessarily about masculinity or femininity. You know, like fuck that. That doesn't matter.
Exactly. And that's just how I feel.
It also kind of, it doesn't matter like what your sexual identity is. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like what your gender is. You know, like as long as you are being yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you are is fine.
Yes.
So yeah,
and that's what people need to know. Like, you're enough.
I want to go back to the whole dating thing. So yeah.
Okay.
So with so obviously WardBody is, again, like you said, it is a lifestyle brand. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of living. Now that you are enlightened, and you obviously are living with intention and purpose, and you seem to have like everything, all steams ahead. You know?
Yeah.
How does that change, and how do you navigate dating now that you
how do you share
are this
WardBody?
different person? You know, because obviously you just can't date anybody. With
It's not even about being picky at this point anymore. It's just about we can smell who we're going to be with. Who like you can smell within. No, listen. Within 3 seconds, you can just smell what this situation is about to be with this guy.
Yeah,
you can tell like off bat, just like how they say hi or LOL or like anything. With me, I no longer entertain stuff I know I don't want. And before, I just felt like this is just something to do. As I said before, we do just because shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is something. He's cute. He got a following. He's popular. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, let me entertain it. But then now with that, I have like a dream and like a purpose. And how I see I know what it feels like. I know what it tastes like. I know who's there. I know everything. Like, I know what this thing looks like.
Yeah.
So I don't even try to entertain situations. Like, I haven't even had sex since TMI. I haven't had sex since like December 30th. And it's just because I'm not.
You know, I like to count the girls. So when I ask them again, I just want to make sure they give the right answer.
Like, seriously, because now it's like inviting people into my space. I now have to invite what they're going through in my space.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want that. Like, I want to focus on what it is that I'm doing. And the one thing that I don't want boys bringing me boy problems. Like, I'm just not somebody that's
no.
I
feel that.
Okay.
Oh, really? Eat that shit out this house.
You sure?
I'm
you
not.
Feel that? Don't bring me problems? Yeah, I do.
Are you sure?
I'm kidding. You know me. I gotta throw a little ad-lib.
No. Want no boy problems now.
Look, I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
The kitty cat corner.
I can't play with y'all.
Trey said, keep it cute, Kit Kat.
I didn't say nothing. I just said she ain't want no boy problems.
Oh, my God.
The problem that off air.
She don't want no
anyway,
scrubs.
I'm sorry, baby.
No, you're fine. I don't know what that's about.
I just got shocked.
That's what they do.
I don't know what that's about either, bitch.
She don't want no boy problems.
No boy problems.
No, seriously, I don't. Like, I don't want boy problems. Like, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, go date, go be with, go talk to, entertain whoever you want. I don't want that. Like, know what you're doing with yourself. Like, know what you're doing when you like come like to me. Like, that's just not my focus. I can't focus on that. Like, I'm trying to build something. So that's a distraction, you know? Like, I don't entertain or put up with like distractions. Like, you gotta go.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Come on.
So you are currently dating. I like to, all of our listeners, like, just to.
Okay.
Are
you playing out
there? Thousands and thousands.
Because it's open and it's ready.
So your husband may be out there. I don't know.
Right. You know
And they may listen to this.
You know what? I've actually been in a healthy relationship with myself for the past 4 years.
Come on.
All right.
I'm here for it.
I thought you were about to gag us.
Right. I was like,
And I think just growing the relationship with self and my friends and just doing what I'm doing now and keeping that the main focus, I think that's where my attention and focus needs to be. Like, that's what I'm all about. Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
I can dig it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I want to go back to the book, and again, we're on intention.
Yeah.
This is a topic that we kind of discussed a few weeks ago, and we did it lightly, but I want to bring it back. But with living with intention and passion and being creative, I feel as though that's something that our parents didn't get the opportunity to do. So,
but was it really opportunity?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I know my mom. She dropped out of school in middle school, so I don't necessarily see her doing anything with doing anything or being able to do much with a middle school education.
Yeah.
Right.
So there, for me, and again, when I was born, my mom was single then. So, you have 2 children, and I don't see the opportunity to really soul search at that point in life,
Yeah.
And I'm not, my mom is, who she is, but I mean, I'm sure she could have had the opportunity, but there's less probability for her to do that, as opposed to someone like me who has had the opportunities to go to school and to kind of do and study what I want. So what's the differences?
I think for me, I don't know. It's so weird.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think that's why we're so estranged from our families at times, because they don't understand why certain things are so important because they just don't know, and I think sometimes we estrange ourselves from our family because they just don't know,
I think it's
that was my point.
I think it's that, but I also think one of the big reasons for that is because we're gay. A lot of our families don't know what that even means. Or the space that we occupy with our families. Some of our families are accepting when they say they're accepting, but then inflict their toxic ways onto us, which then pushes us and forces us out. I mean, that's what happened to me. Because I've been evicted after eviction after eviction, I was forced to move out and away. And I still love my family, but it just wasn't a comfortable situation or a comfortable setting. Repeat your question again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever had a question, but no, that's totally fine. I just want to make it a fact that, again, I remember you saying just being estranged from family.
Yeah.
And I don't think our parents just come from a generation where mental health is important.
They don't.
It's certain things that they just did not know. No. And I think that it just gets lost in that.
Yeah. Last year I told my father, my father, my uncle, my brother's father, my grandmother, my father's mother, my sister, and I are all in a group chat together. And I told them that I was going to go to therapy. Right. And they ripped me apart. And I never had that happen. And I always say the stereotypes Black people don't like therapy. I never witnessed it. And I'm when I said that, and I'm my uncle was you better not go talk to someone else.
Uncle, sit down.
Wow, this is a real thing. Yeah. Y'all don't even know. That's why. And it is the times in which we live. A lot of especially living in the projects and growing up poor is the representation just wasn't there. The will wasn't there. Even with me, I didn't even know that moving to New York was a thing. I didn't even know I could move out of the projects.
Right.
I didn't even know I could have more than one pair of shoes.
Okay.
Growing up and going to school, I thought I was only subjected to having one pair of shoes throughout the whole school year.
Wow.
Simply because I was poor. But that's what they give you. That's what they hand us. And it's a cycle that we constantly keep choosing to live in. But luckily being gay forces you out of that because it just makes you feel there's so much more to life, even if you don't even know what that even looks like. Living in the projects, I didn't even know that I could go to Cabo or go to DR or go to any other places that I've traveled. But I'm this is a world life, and it all goes back to my book. Life tends to be lived when you know what you're living for. When I understood that, I'm now I see why I travel. I know why I was so uncomfortable and being bullied in school and why I went my own way from my family. I understand these things now. Yeah. And I understand why all my hardships happened in life. It forced me to be exactly right here in this space. This is why I went through everything, and it was so worth it.
Come on.
But our parents, they just they didn't have the tools.
Nah.
Like, they just did not have the tools, like, at all. And but it's so weird, though, because it's like you do see some Black people who are actually on.
Yeah.
Like, in the time period where our family, our moms and dads grew up, like, there are some Black people that were on.
Out here
like,
doing it, yeah.
Well, what was the difference between them and then my parents? Like,
my family was great. You know, like
I thought you were about to say something else.
No, I mean, like, the only I've said this online before. Like, the only gripe my mother and I ever had was my sexuality. And you know, beyond that, she was very, very big on introspection and, you know, trying to figure out like why you do the things you do and understanding other people and, you know, what have you. When I told her I was going to therapy, she was happy.
wow.
Because she lost her mother when she was around my age. And she said that going to therapy helped her. Like, you know, it's like I was like, I didn't even know like where I was or what I was doing. And so she had like kids, like she had like us, you know, but we were like really young. And she was like, I didn't even know. So like therapy like helped me. So it's like, you know, I'm glad that you're going. Like, I'm glad that I had her, you know, and not to like somebody to push me away from it. But like my family, they faltered with my sexuality, of course, but. And other than that, they had the tools, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of families, it's the unknowing. It's the unknown is what's so scary. And I think for some parents, like my family is down for therapy and all that stuff, but they're just scared of the unknown. They just don't know what's out there. So them being cautious and wanting you to stay this certain way is because they're like, yo, I don't know what's out there for you. And now I don't want you to go through more hardships that we're already going through because you're not afraid of the unknown. And I think being gay is we're not allowed to be scared of the unknown anymore.
No,
you can't.
Because we are just thrown out there. We have to figure it out. We have to just accept the unknown.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've all had to like get early, and that's something that our parents didn't have to get.
No,
because you could stay in your same neighborhood, in your same group of friends forever because no one was making you look further and look out into the unknown. But now we're of the generation, we're of the age, we're of the sexuality where we have to, because it's not safe for us to always just stay in the complacent areas that we are.
That's so true. That's so true. My father actually, he's talking about unknown. He was scared. Like, he was scared of me moving out of New York. Like, what are you talking about? Like, where are you going? And it also showed again back in 2016 when I went to Cabo. I went to Cabo by myself to celebrate my independence. And my will to like just drive me to where I was in my life. Like every decision that I make, every book that I picked up, everything that I studied and researched, like it's all me. Like no one has given me, you know. And I went to Cabo to celebrate this and whatever. I told my dad this because I'm like, I always check in and whatever when I'm traveling. And he was like, do you think it's safe to go to Mexico? And I'm like, I can't be living in fear. I can't. If I'm gonna die in Mexico, then this is my time. I can't be living because you can't live like that. Like but I think that's what society, what they put on us. When you start to do things outside of your norm, you need to be scared because you don't. What's on the other side of that may be death, but it's like we're all gonna die. So who cares? Like. Do something like right there.
I care.
I was about to say I care a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
I care a little bit.
Yeah.
But when
it's the time.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Listen,
but I feel like
think about the time.
But I feel like when you go through, when you do the work and you decide to become like an enlightened being, you understand that none of this shit is even real.
Yeah.
Come on, it ain't real. All right, teach me something, y'all.
No, it's not. Like even like none of this right now. Like it's not even real. Like we're living in a dimension that where it's not real. Like this isn't tangible. Like my book. None of this is even real. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But it's foreign when you hear someone talks like this, that's my skin color, because it's like, what are you talking? You're right there. Your mic is right there. That's so real. You're a human. Like, but it's like, it's not even, you can't even, it's another level. And because I've read and I've done the work on myself and just been able to, like, this shit isn't real. Like, just because I've been able to come to terms with so much.
Yeah.
Just so much, like, and it's something so small, like when people say my life, like you don't even know when you say your life, you're actually talking about you as a person because you are life. Like, it's not even my life, it's my my existence, like my life situation, like. But it's something so small like that people don't even get. But it's just doing the work. Like you got to do the work, and you got to be not afraid to be alone. Like a lot of my life has been just sitting alone and just being alone. Like it's just wild. Like it's wild because it's like when you sit, like when you're going through these things by yourself, you're like no one will even understand, and you go to talk about it, and it's like
somebody be like, yes, I do.
And
I
it's
get
like
it.
I really did that, and some of the certain things that I've done, like when you really in it, like you in it to win it.
Yeah, come on, in it to win it.
I really did that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Like, I really did that. Like because you don't you just don't know. Like you're so focused and so driven by that thing that you don't even pay attention to like what you are actually doing. Like I'm sure that's how Beyonce feels. Like I'm sure. I
love it.
My queen.
I wish I can study the science of like achievements.
Yeah.
And, like, because I really feel like there's something in the body that when we do make like a fundamental shift happens when we like just make this big accomplishment.
It does.
And I want to know what it is in our bodies that snaps, you know? And that really turns.
Yeah. That's my word all the time. I use that all the time. This is it. I always say that.
So yeah, like I don't know. I remember you were saying like you lost your job prior to you writing, and I wondered, does something bad have to happen to push you through? Because it seems like something devastating happens before.
Listen.
I hate to market it like that.
No. Theories about having struggles to get.
No, listen. Let's not get into that.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna use myself as an example. But prior to January, like I was really depressed. In a not in a really great relationship. Broke up with my boyfriend in January, and literally have been flying ever since.
That's the thing.
But yeah, what's the science? What's in it?
It's nothing beautiful can come from being beautiful. Yeah. Like nothing great can come from if you're already great. Nothing can happen. You know, you have, and every story that I've ever read about someone soaring, they come from hardship. And that's why Black people are the chosen ones. That's why we lead everything, because you don't go through all these hardships and depression and stress just to stay normal. Yep. Like you don't go through this segregation or this what's the word that I'm looking for?
I wish I had it.
Okay.
I don't give it to you. Right? I will give it to you if I had it.
It's you don't go through. Basically, you don't go through all these hardships just to stay the same. Like, we have so much flavor because of our hardships. We dictate marketing because of our hardships.
Dangerous.
No, it's not.
Yes.
To go through the hardships.
When you get to where you start looking back on all the bad things, I'm not thankful for the bad things that I
have
am.
to be.
I'm starting to
But
be
I think
thankful.
it's not about being thankful.
I said this before.
Go, Mom.
So you're not thankful for the experience. I get it. You're thankful for what it taught you. You're thankful for the person
the
that you
lessons
are.
that you've learned.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I'm not. So I wish that bad thing didn't happen.
So wait a
It's so
minute.
shade.
Wait a
Like
minute.
I would have been fine.
Wait a
without
minute.
that bad
But
thing.
how-
If
you
you
can't
were
say
to write
that.
a book, you wouldn't want to put your hardships in your book?
Well, that's the different thing.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's the same
No,
thing.
Where's the
It's
correlation?
the same thing.
He's a correlation. He's
You would
smelling
have
the shit that I'm
nothing to
stepping
write
in.
about. You would have nothing to sing about.
Exactly.
You sing. If you
What
didn't
I'm-
go through hardships, you wouldn't have
Come
nothing
on.
to sing about. You would have no voice.
Come on.
What I'm saying is that I'm not like. I could look back on those things and be like,
Well, that's-
"Ooh, I made it through that."
No.
but I'm gonna look back and be like, "Ooh, I'm so glad that
Well,
that
no,
happened to me."
that's
man,
because you ain't. That's
that's
because you
built
ain't
my
get a-
character up, and I'm a
That's
better
because
person.
you ain't get a check just yet.
Yes.
If you got $1 million for a song
You
or
gonna sing
R&B
like-
song
you
because
gonna
you
sing
went
like
through
a
something with a
songbird.
guy, you can be like, thank God for that
No, I'm
hardship.
saying, I'm not saying
for
I wouldn't write a
you-
song about something that I went through and capitalize off it. I'm saying that I'm not looking back on my hardships and the terrible things that have happened to me that have shaped me into who I am. Yeah. Great, I guess, but like that sucked, and I would undo it in an instant if I could.
I think no one is saying like, I was homeless and thank God for that.
Because I became a better person.
We're
because
not-
of being
no,
homeless.
romanticizing
It's no
the
one
idea
saying
of the
that.
hardship. It is knowing that
Tell your story.
See,
you
but
did go through these
but it
hardships.
is that
and
most of the time.
You've overcome what you've
That's
done.
basically what it is.
And now you're
the reason
better
why I'm
for
saying
it.
this is because when you said romanticizing hardship, now people have come to expect like you have to go through something bad, either with somebody or by yourself in order
But
to
they gonna
come
learn
out.
that anyway.
But, you know, it's like that what I call the butterfly syndrome. Like you feel like you have to like be a caterpillar
struggle?
Ever,
No.
and then you have to go into a chrysalis, and it's like,
Come on, chrysalis.
This doesn't have to happen for every single thing in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
the most common thing that I see is when it relates to relationships. It's like, oh, we've been through the fire and the rain, and it's like, you don't have to go through the fire and the rain with somebody in order to have that. You know
That's
what I'm
so
saying?
true. That's very
I
true.
think that's stupid, and so that's why when I connected back to that, I'm like, I think we should be careful about having that sort of mindset, being like, oh yeah, like I'm glad because it built care. And it's like
it's just
more about.
But I think the
depends on what it
conversations
is.
are on two different levels. Whereas we're talking about like lessons, and you're talking about actually the physical. This is more mental that we're talking about.
even
You're
with
discussing
the
physical.
life lessons in the if we're not focusing on relationship, we're focusing on just like even then.
I just
Because
think
it's
that
all
more
physical for you.
Yeah.
It's physical.
It's not all physical.
But it is. You physically don't like the hardships that you went through, but mentally you're not speaking mentally. You're just speaking physically.
Sweets. The hardships that I've been through have affected me mentally in a way that has been detrimental. So I would take that away if I could.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Flip the script.
No, I'm going to add to both. So I've been living in New York for 4 years.
Yes.
2 of those 4 years, I've been homeless and at shelters, whatever. I've talked about it on the HIM podcast. And I often think about, had I not moved to New York, what would my mental state be? Because obviously right now, I've spoke on the podcast again that I am in intensive therapy. And a lot of the reason why I'm in therapy is because of the trauma that I went through when I was homeless. So again, there are times when I think like, what would I be if I had not put myself through those things? And I kind of wanted to link that to you because when I'm in therapy going through that shit, it is not fun.
No. Yeah.
There's some shit that happened when I was homeless that I cannot forget and I wish never would have happened, but they have happened, so I have to deal with them. But again, there are some things that I wish I did not have to go through. And I don't know, on one hand, I feel like I would not be this person had I not gone through those. But again,
for me, there's never a point where I'm going to look at a part of my personality, even a great one, or a part of like my character or my trait or like something good about me now. I'm not going to look at that and be like, I'm glad that that's here now. Because it's like looking at that and being like, oh, I'm so glad for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then there's a connection back to like, oh, I'm glad that hardship, because that hardship made this part of me that I love. Like, because that hardship sucked. I mean, I'm glad I got this part of me. You know what I'm saying? But like,
how else would you get that part of you?
Coming out.
Who's to say? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. The bad thing happened. Like, if I could go back and erase the bad thing and do it differently, I would.
But the only reason why we go through hardships is because we want more in life. Change a man's reality.
No.
Like, honestly, because you want something in life. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
No, you're not wrong. I do want something in life.
Right.
You're not wrong.
But I'm saying that
part is right.
No,
That part is right.
That right there, yeah.
But if you didn't want anything in life, there was nothing you would need to go through. You can go home, go lay down in your mom's house. Just chill. You don't have to. Don't go through anything. See how not going through anything will help you out from here on out.
Now,
go home. Go live with your mom.
Guess you got to taste that beer, girl.
I don't think the girls are going back there.
I love my mom.
They ain't going back there.
Let me go back home.
Right.
She makes good cookies.
But and just don't do anything. You will never face another hardship in your life, and you will be happy.
Come on out.
I don't know.
But the moment you want something in life, the moment there's something bigger, you for your situation, being homeless is just looking for what you can use that to. Like, what am I supposed to use this for? Because that was given to you. Life doesn't happen to you; it happens for you.
Wow.
And that's how we've been operating. Like, this happened to me. No, this happened for you. It happened for you to put it into something.
Come on, Antoine. Come on, Antoine.
I disagree.
I'm just saying.
Then
go home. Go home. Go home.
I think it depends on
Roger.
before.
No,
So,
just go home.
Go home, Roger.
I think before we
No.
all do a thing.
No. I'm with you.
I think it depends.
your
It depends on the hardships in question.
Yeah,
And I'll
I
leave
think
it.
that's what it is always going to depend on. That.
I want to also add that in those experiences, it has taught me to switch from survival mode into intention mode.
Okay.
So now I am no longer because I feel like I was in those situations because I was trying to survive and not live.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to usher myself into living.
Out of survival mode,
and in the last few weeks, I know I've been a mess but it has all been for a better reason and a better life. And bitch, it's no shade. I can no longer live day to day. Like I cannot, specifically living in New York.
Baby.
I cannot do it. I cannot do it.
I cannot do it.
And I'm no longer doing it.
We spoke on this.
Yeah.
I said to you that like I'm no longer just keeping my head afloat.
Yeah.
Like I'm no longer in the place where I'm just keeping my head above water trying to panic every day, all day. That's like no longer the life that I'm choosing to live. And so I've experienced things that now have taught me certain things that I'm now going to implement into making sure that I don't have have my head above water all my life. I want to float at some point.
Okay.
I just want to be complacent and float for a few years maybe and experience the life that like I was afforded after all of this has happened to me.
Yeah. I think that turning 30 has ushered in just a new wave for me of thinking, because a lot of people think that when you turn 30, you magically have it all together and you're financially stable and mentally stable, and that's a crock of bullshit.
Yeah. Bullshit.
What I will say is that by 30, you should have the faculties to start doing the work that you need to do on yourself. And I will say, now I finally have the space and the opportunity to do that. But bitch, I called my mom last night. I'm not going to lie, just a selfish moment. I called my mom, and I tweeted the other day that I slightly fucked up something professional, and I hate when I do something in the professional realm. Like I hate when I fuck up something. And I mean, literally was so fucked up about this that like I was out, could not enjoy myself. And anywho, I got an email from the person that I was working for, and they told me how good of a job I've been doing, and they would be writing me a recommendation and everything. And so immediately I get on the phone with my mom, and I just like start crying because like I literally feel like I'm a 6-year-old in a 30-year-old body, and I'm like just kind of just blindly like searching. I'm just not gonna get too emotional, but I just feel like I'm a bad adult and I'm not doing this right at all, you know?
None of us are.
But that's the culture. Because we never even just looked at ourselves and just been like, well, what does getting older means to me? Like, what does it mean to even be an adult?
Yeah.
Like, how does that actually look? Like, if our parents were 14, 17, 18 having kids, it was like, I used to think that at 19 that someone who was 32 was an adult. Like, they weren't. Like, it's hard because, again, for us, there are no tools to this. Like there's nothing. I mean, granted for me, because I've been on my journey and I've been able to like become socially and self-aware like at an earlier age, I started doing the work a little earlier. So now I know not to put myself through certain things or accept certain things and like figure out like and know now like what I'm worth and only operate from that point. But someone who isn't in my shoes or isn't able to do those things, it sucks because it's just like you do want to help. I'm like, hey, here's the key, here's the tools for this and whatever. But how you help is doing stuff like this. You write it out, you put it out there, and you let people know like, hey, like this is going to happen. I mean, you know, and this is going to be the outcome. But you're doing okay. Like it's going to be okay. And I think that it's weird. It's really weird because it's like we don't have any gay men to look up to or to even go to and just have a conversation with. Like
I do.
Okay.
I mean, no, we still have
I have a few. But I don't have like a close connection where I can be like, hey girl, what's the tea? You know?
I'm about bitch, you can call me.
It's more or less like in a professional type setting a little bit, but I mean,
like a good gay aunt.
Yeah.
Like, come on, gay. You don't have that. Like,
I mean, you know, our gay elders, you know, our queer elders have been taken from us. You know what I'm saying? Like the AIDS crisis and, you know, what have you. You know, so we just have to be grateful for who's left.
But one thing I am happy about, we will be the queer elders.
Okay,
we will. Okay,
we will be those girls
who
teach the girls,
and we have to be.
We have to
benevolent to the kittens.
I'm trying.
I'm trying. We have to be benevolent to the kittens.
My patience.
I will be not.
I'm gonna be real honest. My patience with the young girls is not.
Okay, I was about to say, don't be put me in the elders.
We being nice to the kittens.
We being cute
My patience with the kittens.
You're very short.
She ain't got no patience with
Yeah.
no
Half much. I'm gonna be
cats,
honest with
kittens.
you. But
Yes.
and the crazy thing is that I love children.
You love children you can control.
Oh my God. It's getting spicy.
Why do I feel like Aaron gets tried on the daily?
Because I do.
He does not.
He tried that.
Oh my
He tried that. He tried that. And then the girls
That's
be,
the
sit
thing.
down,
But
girl.
I never
So he's
tried
the
first.
Tamar.
I be
He's the Tamar.
chilling.
No, I am the
that.
Tamar.
Oh,
You
we
say
Never
that because
that.
you love her. Okay.
No, I am the.
He try back.
I can't.
No,
Said what I said.
If we was to escape, it would be very
can't.
much.
If you say Candy Burrs, is that Candy
No,
Burrs?
that's not candy.
I don't
Okay.
know nothing about
This
it.
is Latasha.
Ooh, I smell it.
You get it. You get it.
I see where you at.
We get it. We get
I
it.
was. I know
Latasha
nothing
was like
about
kind of
it.
bossy.
She's
She's a little bossy.
Oh,
I
But Aaron,
can't.
you're not bossy. You're just cute with it.
I
No.
can't.
You deliver your message as well. Latasha, not so much.
I'm respectful.
There it is.
Next topic.
Yeah.
I don't even. Yeah.
See, I've been watching you for a while. You know how to stop.